Welcome to the Great People Show, your guide to greatness, your GPS to excellence. Here is your host, J.J. White.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Great People Show. I am your host, J.J. White, and in the studio with me here this morning is our beloved Mr. Peter Larsen. Welcome to the show, Peter.
I am thrilled to be here, JJ. This is awesome.
I love the word thrill.
Yes,
now,
it's a word.
Had you planned on using that word, or was it very natural for you?
It just came naturally.
Because today's topic is the power of words.
Yes, it is.
And I am very careful now of the words that I use.
Yeah.
Before we get into the topic, because Peter, this is the first time you've actually been on the show as a guest co-host.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself. Who are you? What's your story, Peter?
Oh, my story. Well, I have been in Richmond for, 30 years now.
Wow, your whole life.
That's a good one. That's close.
Very good.
I have been in Virginia just about my entire life.
Okay.
Just since I was a baby. So I've been married 34 years to the same woman.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Good
It's
for you.
fabulous.
With no breaks, right?
Straight
through. Good job.
And we're straight through to the
You're
end.
a great person, Peter. 34 years makes you great.
She is great.
Good.
She
Well,
is great.
When I shared this at the interview this week, we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
One of the definitions I heard about a successful marriage is both people have to feel like they married up.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
So that means you married up.
And
if I ever get to meet your wife, I'll ask her the same question. Don't give her the answer.
I will not give her.
Don't give her the answer.
We have two grown, married, working, homeowner, independent sons.
Oh, now we have already
All
established on the
that's
show that if you're able to produce that in the world and get those young children into successful, participating citizens, that makes you a great person.
Yes.
Because parenting is a big part of being a great person. Our sponsor on the show, A Ginger Kid, is one of those tools that enables that to happen, as especially working professionals, where we just don't get as much time with our children as we want. And in the studio today, of course, we're on 97.7 and 820, 97.7 FM and 820 AM, The Answer in Richmond. But if you're watching us on Facebook Live or maybe after the show YouTube, you'll notice that we have a Ginger Kid toy in here. And we have brought back the Balance, which is a non-eclipsed moon. We just had the eclipse. And Peter, since you're the guest host, why don't you roll the dice first and see what color you come up with? Red. So pick your red piece and play it. It's like it's kind of like Jenga.
All right, so I take this.
Yep.
And
you put it on here, but turn it sideways. There you go.
Okay.
Be careful. No, it has to go like this. Yeah, there you go. Like this.
First time in the studio, folks.
There we go. That's all right. So we're learning the Ginger Kid methodologies
really
here with this is my adult fidget spinner, by the way.
Okay. I do.
And if you go to agingerkid.com and any purchase, you use the keyword. What am I looking for? Something like that. Gifts, then you get 25% off. So today we're talking about the power of words. And before we get too far into the topic, I'm frequently asked, what is the show about? The purpose of the show is to give people a path to something better in their life. Mm-hmm. I think most people are seeking something a little different, better results. We've talked about this a lot on the show. It's not about having more toys. It's not about having more cars and more bank accounts and things of that nature. It's truly how we can give better to other people. How do you define greatness, Peter?
Well, greatness is being better than you were yesterday and continual improvement. To think about every day is a brand new day. What I do every day is absolutely a new day. Yesterday does not exist anymore, and tomorrow doesn't either. So living in the now and then focusing on what can I do today that I wasn't able to do yesterday.
One of my favorite quotes is, remember, today is the tomorrow that you worried about yesterday.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one, JJ.
Let me go slower. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday.
That's good for a lot of people.
And when I say it slower, it makes a lot more sense. It took me a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just doing that for our listeners.
We all need that.
So if you truly believe you're on a path to more in your life or just looking for that path, join us every week and we will be your guide to greatness. We bring attention to parts of you and parts of your life that probably just you aren't paying enough attention to. And a big element, the biggest element, I'm going to say the biggest element are the words that we used.
Yes.
Or the words that we use. And used, past tense, because a lot of the words that we've used in our life has created who we are today.
That's right.
There are many areas that in life you can pull a lever, maybe a big lever, a small lever, and have some dramatic impact in who we are and what we get. The words that come out of our mouth is a big one. And So in research and preparation for the show, because Peter and I got together a couple weeks ago and we started to think about what do we want to talk about. And tell me about where did the power of words come from for you? I want to hear the story about what you do in your cubicle. Like this is a foundation for why we're talking about this subject today.
Well, my goodness. Well, the power of words, actually, I discovered probably 35 years ago through actually a Christian teacher.
Okay.
An actual evangelist, a TV evangelist who taught me, just got in my mind about the power of what I say.
Yep.
And that I can create my reality with my words, and backed it up with scriptures. And I believed it then, and I still believe it today. And so ever since then, I've been building this foundation for 35 years of creating my reality with my words and being super careful on what I say, because I know that it will many times, if not all the times, materialize.
And what do you do in your office? I want to hear that story.
Oh, in my office, people at Cobb Technologies, where I enjoy my 9 years, think I'm a little bit strange. Imagine such a thing, radio audience. I am very strange, but I don't care because I'm creating abundance.
Okay.
So I go over in the office and I'm constantly encouraging people. I'm speaking words of encouragement to them. There's no negativity. If I'm having I don't really have bad months in sales because I believe in abundance,
there you go.
But maybe a little bit of a dip for a little challenge. I'm not speaking negative. I am attracting sales. So I go around. Sometimes I'm on the computer and say, sales, 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 sales. And the people around think I'm strange, but they all know me. And the sales are attracted. Yeah. And the customer relationships are attracted.
You're planning it in your head.
Yes, I'm planning
you're planning it in your head.
I'm speaking what I want.
And the brain is so simple. Like you just can't fill but so many. Everyone on the show is probably going to agree with this. You can only fit but so many things in it at once in order to focus in on it. So it sounds like you're taking control of what you're putting in your head in the moment that you need in the moment. Because I know at work, everyone faces this. You just get distracted by things that aren't meaningful to what your goals are.
Yes.
One of the quotes that I found in preparation for the show, which I absolutely love, words are singularly the most powerful force available to humanity. We can choose to use this force constructively with words of encouragement or destructively using words of despair. That's a powerful word. Words have energy and power with the ability to heal, help, hinder, or hurt, harm, or humiliate, and to humble. From Yehuda Berg. What a powerful statement.
It's fantastic. Love it.
So when we come back from break, we're going to start taking some callers. Looks like we already have one here ready for the show. 804-454-1366, 804-454-1366. We want to hear about the words and the statements and the quotes perhaps that you use to drive results in your life, drive your attitude, drive how you parent, drive how you manage. And these things are very powerful in our life. I'm just going to start. We put this out on Facebook and had over 100 comments.
Wow.
So before we before we go to our first break, just throwing down a couple of these, I broke them into categories. First category is short sayings. Think positively, be daring, move fast, live to laugh, thy will be done. CM, which stands for Charlie Mike, which in military is for continue mission.
Ooh, didn't know that one.
Press on, enjoy the ride, laugh on, God is good, God's got this, focus on what's lovely and pure. Life is messy and that's okay. It's all good.
That's a good one.
Trust but verify. This is one of my favorites. Push, pray until something happens. Don't feel like you need to write all these down because we're going to put them on our website later. We have over 100 here to share some inspiration. When we come back, we're going to start taking callers on what words do we use that gets us moving. You've been listening to The Great People Show.
Oh, I want something just like
Hi, I'm JJ White, host of The Great People Show. As a parent, I'm now busier than ever and don't have a lot of time for teaching my child fundamentals or helping them build good foundations. That's why I love products by A Ginger Kid. They allow me to spend time teaching critical skills to my children while we all have fun. The quality wood used in A Ginger Kid products can't be beat, and the wooden texture brings a nostalgia that allows both my child and I to enjoy our moments together. A Ginger Kid products are about equipping parents to help their children learn with confidence. A Ginger Kid also helps me pause to take moments to create intentional memories with my children. These classic toys teach classic moments. Go to agingerkid.com and enter the promo code GIFTS to receive 25% off your order as one of our listeners. A Ginger Kid, the tools and toys that teach.
Before the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People was the Dale Carnegie course. Now, after 104 years, over 8 million people experience Dale Carnegie courses. People like Warren Buffett and Ronald Reagan. The Dale Carnegie experience uses proven techniques to permanently unlock the potential of top talent, making individuals into inspiring leaders and groups into high-performing teams, while reducing the financial and emotional costs of employee turnover. For more information, visit DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. That's DaleCarnegieRichmond.com.
Jacqueline and Nick thought they knew everything there was to know about each other. But after staying at the Omni homestead, where they discovered Nick was a natural in a kayak and Jacqueline had a zest for ziplining, they realized every journey is a chance to discover something new. How might staying at Omni affect you? From unlimited golf to intimate dining and romantic spa retreats, visit theomnihomestead.com to find the perfect package for your next getaway. The Omni Homestead Resort. Never stay the same.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Great People Show. I'm JJ, your host, and in the studio with me today is Peter Larsen as our guest co-host, and we're talking about the power of words. And we have our first caller this morning. We have Dave on the phone. I'm presuming from Charlotte. Dave, are you in Charlotte today?
I'm in Charlotte almost every day, brother.
Oh man, it's so good to hear your voice.
This is my home base.
Home base. So for our listeners, our first caller today is a longtime personal friend of mine. And Dave, if you don't mind me mentioning, you're a sales trainer in the Dale Carnegie program about 12 years ago.
Yeah, amazing.
You don't have to give me all the credit, but I'll take some of it. And I also want to just make sure everyone's aware, Dave is a baller at iHeartMedia. That's his official title. So
come on, JJ.
It's an honor to have an iHeartMedia executive on the call here this morning. And Dave, the reason we wanted you to come on the show is your comment on Facebook. Whenever we went and said, hey, what are the words that really inspire you and get you going? Your comment was enjoy the ride, which I absolutely loved. And I'm going to read the rest of it because there's important context here. Dave's words, I live, work so A to B, I forget to look out the window most of the time and take in the good that's happening between the A stop and the B stop. And I loved your final comment, work still in progress. Tell us more about that.
Look, we're all so busy. And by the way, just to frame this thing up, I've been in broadcast for 24 years and been with iHeartMedia and iHeartRadio since the inception. This is the first time I've been a guest. First time I've been a guest on the show.
Nice.
So thank you, JJ. Wow,
You're welcome.
You never forget your first one.
Awesome.
Now you know what it's like.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I love your stuff. I've been listening to it. So fantastic.
Thank you.
But look, we're all so busy. We've got so much going on. And, this conversation is timely because of back to school. I mean, back to school just happened. And, my son's a sophomore at the University of South Carolina. And, you're trying to blend that work-life balance in there. And so it's like, oh, my gosh, I've got so much I got to get done at work. I've got travel. Oh, my son's moving back. And you just rush through this stuff. And then, 3 weeks after your son's been in school, you just sat back and thought, like, wait a minute, I missed that whole thing because I was just trying to get to the next one. So I think we all struggle, and it's a daily process for me to enjoy the ride because again, it's just so much going on with everybody. So, I think the one key is, look, you got to learn to relax. And JJ, I've known you for a long time, and that's something you and I have a hard time doing because we're both go, and we're trying to get to the next one.
Yep.
But we just got to learn to take into the moment, and I think once we learn to take into the moment and we learn to relax and we start to enjoy the ride, the people around us, whether they're employees or their family or whatever, friends, I think they get to enjoy the ride a little better as well.
And I love the comment that you made about us because you and I are both high goal achievers. And when you are so focused on winning and going for more and not settling, that was actually one of the comments that showed up a lot on Facebook was don't settle. That we lose the context of even why we're doing it. I mean, what you just mentioned, Dave, enjoying the ride was enjoying the fact that your son here is a sophomore in South Carolina. And I know that was probably a big leap for your family? You start to become an empty nester, because he's your oldest, correct?
Yeah, he's the oldest.
So
and another daughter going into high school, and getting her ready, and you miss that too.
And it doesn't come back.
No,
it doesn't come back. It's we're always focused. It's like sitting on the train and always just focused on getting to the next stop, and realizing that there's so much to watch along the way that it gives us energy. So is there anything that you do when you catch yourself not enjoying the ride to get your head back into that?
Yeah, look, and again, I've got to make my own little signs and my own little posts, and so in my car, I've got to write down "enjoy the ride." The post-its, the stickies all over your desk. It's "enjoy the ride," because I've got to remind myself, and even at times I've got to put my own periodical Outlook reminders in there, just to remind myself. Remind myself to slow down and use that as a tool that just either pops up on your phone or pops up in the middle of the day. And everyone's got those peak hours, and from 11 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock, man, you are grinding, because that's kind of at least my sweet spot for just getting productivity done.
Yeah.
And those are the times I've got to remind myself the most to slow down, man, just enjoy what you're doing. And I've been fortunate enough over the last couple of years to do a lot of traveling, and our corporate office is in New York, and I'm up there monthly, and I travel through Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, and it's a rush trying to get ready for travel when you're in New York, and you're there and it's busy, and you come back and you're rushing to get caught back up. And then I've got to remind myself, wait a minute, I'm getting to go to one of the greatest cities in America. The company's paying for my meals, they're paying for my hotel. It's almost like a mini me vacation where you can just, be by yourself for a minute. And, I forget to take those things in and enjoy them, rather than I'm just trying to get through them so I can get back and get to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and this popped into my head. I'm going to try this just based on us having this conversation, and this might be something you do. And I'm curious, maybe you already do that. Do you already ask a lot of other people if they're enjoying the ride as a leader?
That I don't, and
so,
that's a great takeaway.
Here's an idea. Maybe if we reach out to other people and say, "Hey, Peter, you enjoying the ride today?" Especially if you can get other people, because I have a few people in my life that I could call up right now and say, every day I want you to either text me or call me and just simply ask me the question, are you enjoying the ride?
Yep.
Just as a refresher, because we get so sucked into the world. We just get so sucked into the world. Dave, I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate you calling the show. You've always been a good friend, and you just did not disappoint in any way, shape, or possible on your very first time as a guest. On the radio after decades of being in radio. So thanks for being here, buddy.
Hey, man, we appreciate what you're doing and all the good works. And again, even as a lot of us are listening in different areas, we're taking away little nuggets from your show.
Thank
and several weeks ago, that blind spot segment that you did meant a lot to me, and I've shared that whole conversation with a lot of people around me, asking, hey, what are my blind spots, and sharing those conversations. So
wonderful.
Good work, JJ.
Thanks, brother.
We appreciate and love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Thank
right.
you. See you, Dave.
See you now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's great. Dave brought up blind spots. This week we did a workshop in Roanoke on uncovering leadership blind spots. And I don't think there's anything in this world we are more blind to than the words that come out of our mouth. What do you think?
Oh, we're mindless a lot of times. It's me as well, of course, everybody. We don't think about what we're saying. We just sort of listen to the culture. We listen to what's on television and what's on radio, and we just sort of model our speech after that, and regurgitate what we've heard others.
Yeah.
Not taking control over our own lives through our words.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point. As in the research, I came up with a word. I don't know if I can patent it yet. It's called linguistic laziness.
Ooh. Like that.
And anyone that's ever been in radio or have ever put yourself out there a lot, you will know that when you feel like you have an original thought, you probably didn't. Somebody has probably written about it or thought about it. So I haven't done a lot of research, but I realized, just based specifically on what you just said, Peter, we get so lazy in the words that we use. A lot of times it's just regurgitating what other people have said, what we've picked up from. And don't even get me started if we look at Facebook too much and start to regurgitate. That was last week's segment on how do we stay positive in such a negative environment. Before we get too much further, I forgot I should have rolled the dice on our Ginger Kid balance beam here. So I picked up a blue. I'm going small. I'm going right there in the middle. I'm playing it safe. The the other categories that I found when people responded to the question, what words, phrases, or sayings get you motivated, really drive your attitude, it was really broken down into short phrases, specific words, and quotes. I was pretty surprised that a lot of people didn't have more single words.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do in our workshops is get people to commit to one word for an entire year. What is going to be your word in 2017? I'm curious, Peter, if I had to put you on the spot.
On the spot.
What is your word for the rest of the year?
Create.
There you see, and it's so natural. So it's probably something that you're focused on already. These were the words that other people came up with. Tracy Parrish, Now. Beth Ruffing, Faith, Hope, Love. Anthony Spencer, Relentless. Kyle McMahon, Passion. Chris Whitehead, Integrity. Others, Abide, Pride, Integrity, Learning, Humor, Service, Courage. Now came up a couple times. Just the word now.
Yeah.
And this speaks to me because it speaks to the procrastinator. It speaks to the I'll wait for it to happen for me or to me. We need to take control of that and do it now, right? Here's another hot topic I want to bring onto the show, talking about the power of words. You probably didn't know I was going to ask you about this.
It's not in the notes.
What's your opinion or point of view on cussing? Profanity.
I actually hope my
and
sons,
by the way,
hope my sons
FCC's
are watching.
Listening,
I know. This is actually a very easy one. I don't cuss. I make a purpose. I decided probably 35 years ago that I'm not going to let that come out of my mouth.
Why?
Because it creates an atmosphere. It creates and it ignites conflict. And I'm not attracting conflict into my life. I'm attracting harmony into my life in all areas of life, business, everything, family. So cussing, I've seen it enough. I've studied enough. I've seen enough movies. I've cussed before, but I don't anymore. I haven't for many years because what it creates.
I'm with you. And to add something to this conversation, we have to be very open that the alphabet is free. Right? We can use it however we want to. Everyone has the freedom to do that if they so choose.
If they so choose, yes.
I'm with you. I let things. I don't let things slip. I think it's conscious. I think we consciously do these things, and I'm in that same bucket as you are. I feel like it brings too much negativity to a particular environment, to a subject. I don't know if somebody's going to be offended, and personally, I just don't feel great when I use it, especially if I accidentally hit my thumbnail with a hammer and say a bad word. And if you look at the research on profanity, it's very much driven by a release of adrenaline. So sometimes we just let these things happen. The reason I bring this up is because we as humans are so compelled to give voice to just any passing emotion. And profanity can be a result of that. A lot of negative words can be a result of that. I was introduced this week to a guy named Mark England, who owns a company called Procabulary. Do you know Mark?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I was at the Authentic interview this week that you attended. I was interviewed by Chris Jones, and we were talking about the power of words in this show, and Chris said afterwards, hey, there's this person you really need to talk to. His name is Mark England, and that was only 2 days ago, and him and I are texting on Facebook for the very first time last night, and he loved the topic of today's show. One of the things that I picked up on his writings was the word abracadabra, and we're going to talk about that when we come back from break. Before we go to break there, real quick, Peter, roll that dice, buddy.
Here we go.
Let's see what the ginger kid.
I'm red again.
It's pink.
Or
No,
pink.
it's pink. You're not colorblind, are you?
Just the lights of this studio. My goodness.
Your future's bright. Ooh,
It
you
is.
went risky. You went on the end.
Shades. I need shades.
So to be a part of today's show, we're taking callers to talk about what words, phrases, what inspires you, what moves you to a different level of action in your life. To be a part of the show, call us at 804-454-1366. You have been listening to The Great People Show.
Jacqueline and Nick thought they knew everything there was to know about each other. But after staying at the Omni homestead, where they discovered Nick was a natural in a kayak and Jacqueline had a zest for ziplining, they realized every journey is a chance to discover something new. How might staying at Omni affect you? From unlimited golf to intimate dining and romantic spa retreats, visit theomnihomestead.com to find the perfect package for your next getaway. The Omni Homestead Resort. Never stay the same.
Before the book How to Win Friends and Influence People was the Dale Carnegie course. Now, after 104 years, over 8 million people experience Dale Carnegie courses. People like Warren Buffett and Ronald Reagan. The Dale Carnegie experience uses proven techniques to permanently unlock the potential of top talent, making individuals into inspiring leaders and groups into high-performing teams, while reducing the financial and emotional costs of employee turnover. For more information, visit DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. That's DaleCarnegieRichmond.com.
Hi, I'm JJ White, host of The Great People Show. As a parent, I'm now busier than ever and don't have a lot of time for teaching my child fundamentals or helping them build good foundations. That's why I love products by A Ginger Kid. They allow me to spend time teaching critical skills to my children while we all have fun. The quality wood used in A Ginger Kid products can't be beat, and the wooden texture brings a nostalgia that allows both my child and I to enjoy our moments together. A Ginger Kid products are about equipping parents to help their children learn with confidence. A Ginger Kid also helps me pause to take moments to create intentional memories with my children. These classic toys teach classic moments. Go to agingerkid.com and enter the promo code GIFTS to receive 25% off your order as one of our listeners. A Ginger Kid, the tools and toys that teach. We are back. We are back on the Great People Show. I'm JJ, and in the studio with me is Peter. We just have a blast here in the studio.
So much fun in the studio.
It is one of the best hours of my entire week is to be here for our audience because this is the People Show.
It is.
And we're talking about the power of words, and I tried something. I'm going to get very transparent, and as Chris Jones would say, authentic here this morning.
Like that.
As I was realizing this show, I realized I needed to watch my words more. So I tried something on for size this morning. Because I didn't get to sleep until about 2 a.m. this morning through just natural causes and being up late and things like this. And then I woke, and I didn't sleep very well to begin with. And then I woke up at 6:15. So I'm running off about 4 hours and 15 minutes. Do you know how many times this morning, Peter, I caught myself saying something negative because that happened to me? I was disappointed with myself. How many times I said, I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. I was literally creating what I absolutely did not want to happen with my words. Do you catch yourself doing that every once in a while?
I do.
Yeah.
And it usually when there's weakness in the physical body or mind. Lack of sleep will produce weakness. Excessively, like working 13-hour days, which sometimes I do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm really weak, and I know I need to rest.
Yeah, and our words get weak.
Yes.
Well, one person that I know is not weak is our next caller.
Oh yeah,
Nat Pham, which
he
you know very well,
a rock star. That
his comment on Facebook was "Be relentless." Nat, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Man, I've been wanting you on the show for too long, brother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Fantastic.
Of course he is.
I love it. Nat, you have commented, I think, on every research question we've had since we've started the show. You're a very passionate guy. Clearly, you are very focused on the words that you use. Tell us about it.
Well, for the longest time, I've heard what you think about, you bring about. And it's something I learned actually from the same roots that Peter Larsen.
Oh, here we go. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is, we used to sell books door to door.
No way.
We did.
For
Nat.
summers. Yeah.
No.
A program called Southwestern Company.
Oh,
we sure did.
Wow.
We sure did.
And so when you sell door to door, you have to recondition and reprogram your mind. I mean, some people out there might have heard of NLP.
Yeah.
And, neuro-linguistic programming. And that's, a lot of folks think about that where there's hypnotists or whatever the case may be to other people. But we actually have to program our own minds because it's like a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take whatever you put into it. So if you're saying negative things, that's all you're going to gravitate towards. And your mind's going to be limited towards that. But if you think about positive things, that's going to help you to that. Now, by the same token, I love Zig Ziglar's quote that he says that, look, positive thinking won't let you do anything, but it will let you do everything better than negative thinking will.
Oh,
that's right.
So, Nat, let's get practical. Let's get practical.
Yeah.
What do you do? Especially whenever, because your quote that you used on Facebook is the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. So when you're in the arena and you're doing battle with life, how does Nat take control of the situation attitudinally, and especially with the words, to make sure that you don't fall into that trap that we just easily fall into?
I think it's trying to set up triggers for yourself and repeating that over and over when you hit certain issues. Like, y'all talk about being strong, but like when I work out, there's times I think about what my trainer has said. He goes, your body doesn't control you, you control your body.
That's true.
And I didn't even realize that until I felt like I was going to give up on that extra rep or that extra round. And when you realize, you're reprogramming yourself, you're just like, look, I control it. I can do more than what my body is telling me. And so you have to set up triggers. And those triggers, it could be words. Sometimes it's actually an action. Y'all remember, what was it called? JJ, no, it's not JJ, something Ewing back in the Dallas days. He used to try to get people to quit smoking.
J.R. Ewing?
J.R. Ewing, thanks.
Man, we're going back in time.
I had JJ in my mind.
And I'm a young guy.
Yeah. I mean, I know. But he used to have this wristband. He would snap that wristband.
Oh, yeah.
Or that rubber band, right? And it's just a trigger to say, hey, I don't need that. And sometimes you might use words. And I use words because I don't know. Wristbands are just, doesn't work in the business world for me. I think it's a cool mantra wristband. But practicality, whatever word that you feel that can trigger you to change the course of action that you don't want, or move, probably better ways to say it positively, move you towards the direction you do want.
Yeah, and I love the analogy of the rubber band. And even though it's an analogy, I don't think it's really an analogy. I'm compelled to look around the studio. I need a rubber band for my wrist because I would be snapping that sucker all the time.
Sure.
Seriously. And that's what I need. That's what I need, like a little wake-up call. And I'm wondering, Nat, you're a technology guy. Are there apps out there that can help us do these kind of things that, like, literally just we can set up to just trigger a thought on our phone? Because we're already addicted to our phones and our watches and all these things. Is there something out there that you're aware of? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I don't use them just because I've kind of set up my own triggers.
Okay.
The ones I have to set up more is probably when I'm driving. But other than that, that's the only time I get really, really negative. But other times, I don't know. I've kind of programmed it in my mind when I hit this issue, especially when working out. These are the words I'm going to use. Or when I don't make that sale, or I get an objection or a rejection, then I have that trigger. I'm sure y'all never run into those things. No.
Well, and you bring up a good point, Nat.
You
bring up a really good point. I think, especially when you're in sales, you're used to these moments where people give you an objection or they turn you down. If it's normal in the course of your business or your life, I think we have a better way of handling those in realizing I can't let myself get down. What I think most people don't really see, they're very blind to, I know I am, are the things that are very sometimes subtle and infrequent and unexpected that can really bring us down in our attitude, that gives us that boiling frog effect of, wow, how did I end up right here, right now? Just because maybe someone did something negative earlier this week. You know what I mean? And I think that's a great, we have to be very aware of the things that are unexpected in our lives, because in sales we're used to certain things happening, aren't we? Unfortunately, not expect it, but accept it. Right? It's a big difference between those two words. So Nat, thanks for joining the show. What's your parting advice for our listeners on this whole topic?
Sure. As far as practicality goes, I'll tell you what I used to do, and I'm reminded of the show or the movie actually, Golden Child, and they tried to do it in a negative way. The Golden Child was the one, right? And they used to surround, I remember the scene, is they surround them with all these negative images and writings. But if you flip that, I used to have sales goals, and I used to put the number 13 because that was when I got my extra spiff and bonus. I used to put 13 around myself everywhere.
Ooh.
So one of the things that you can do, if you need those triggers, you're not going to automatically pop up. Yeah, you can have the phone app. Yes, you do trigger that. But if you can maybe put it on your steering wheel, you can put it on your screen, wherever you are, your mirror. We used to do that. Remember in Southwestern, Peter, we used to put it in our mirrors.
Yes.
So the first thing you do when you wake up and you look in the mirror, you already see the writing. So that's what I encourage you to do, whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in sales, whether it's in just personal development in general. That's what
fantastic.
I would suggest.
Beautiful.
Put your programming everywhere.
Thanks, Nat. We appreciate you being on the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good day.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
You too.
So, Nat talked about something that I was teasing before we went to break, the word abracadabra that Mark England brought up in the video that I watched of him. Do you know by chance, not the definition of abracadabra, but the translation of abracadabra?
No, but I'd like you to tell me, JJ.
It's actually Aramaic, and it means I create as I speak. Because what do you think about when you think of abracadabra?
Presto,
magic.
We create something
Right?
out of nowhere.
Magic, right? And we know magic is creating as we speak, creating a visual or a belief in somebody. The other thing that he ties into that is words influence imagination, feelings, emotions, physicality, and even how you breathe. And in a way, negative words is really just practicing failing. Because let's face it, if we, this morning was a great example. The more I would say, I'm tired, I need to be on game. And when you're in radio, Thursday is my radio day, right? If that red S costume is not back from the dry cleaner by first thing Thursday morning, I'm in trouble. Okay.
That's right.
So I can let these things get to us in realistically, physically, emotionally, psychologically, it will affect everyone that listens to the show in one way, shape, or another. And just because I'm on radio doesn't make me any different than you.
That's
the
right.
listener. We all have impact that we make on other people with our words. Before I go any further,
here we go.
Before we go to our next break,
here we go.
Here we go. Whoa, roll a red one. All right, so I'm going with the big red right here, putting that in the middle to our A Ginger Kid balance beam.
Awesome.
When we come back, we're going to be taking more callers to be a part of the show and to share with us what words inspire you. What words do you live by? 804-454-1366. You're listening to The Great People Show.
Before the book How to Win Friends and Influence People was the Dale Carnegie course. Now, after 104 years, over 8 million people experience Dale Carnegie courses. People like Warren Buffett and Ronald Reagan. The Dale Carnegie experience uses proven techniques to permanently unlock the potential of top talent, making individuals into inspiring leaders and groups into high-performing teams, while reducing the financial and emotional costs of employee turnover. For more information, visit DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. That's DaleCarnegieRichmond.com.
Hi, I'm JJ White, host of The Great People Show. As a parent, I'm now busier than ever and don't have a lot of time for teaching my child fundamentals or helping them build good foundations. That's why I love products by A Ginger Kid. They allow me to spend time teaching critical skills to my children while we all have fun. The quality wood used in A Ginger Kid products can't be beat, and the wooden texture brings a nostalgia that allows both my child and I to enjoy our moments together. A Ginger Kid products are about equipping parents to help their children learn with confidence. A Ginger Kid also helps me pause to take moments to create intentional memories with my children. These classic toys teach classic moments. Go to agingerkid.com and enter the promo code GIFTS to receive 25% off your order as one of our listeners. A Ginger Kid, the tools and toys that teach.
Jacqueline and Nick thought they knew everything there was to know about each other. But after staying at the Omni homestead, where they discovered Nick was a natural in a kayak and Jacqueline had a zest for ziplining, they realized every journey is a chance to discover something new. How might staying at Omni affect you? From unlimited golf to intimate dining and romantic spa retreats, visit theomnihomestead.com to find the perfect package for your next getaway. The Omni Homestead Resort. Never stay the same.
We love dancing in the studio, getting our pumping iron on. Words to live by here with Peter Larsen, our guest co-host this week. And before I forget, Actually, we should probably have a show on being forgetful. But as I'm getting older, I've noticed things just don't work as well as they used to. So before I forget, Peter's going to be our last guest co-host for a while. For those of you that have been listening to the show for a while, Kelsey K1 had been our co-host as we started, and then we transitioned into some guest co-hosts. But next week, we're going to have James Muncy back, and he's going to be our regular co-host for a long time, with the occasional little guest co-host rolling back into the seam a little bit. Today, we're talking about the power of words. And this was something that I found many years ago that I've integrated into some of my presentations that I do. He's a controversial guy. If you do some research on him, you'll find that people just don't really believe in a lot of his work. That's cool. But I think there's a lesson to be learned here. The guy's name is Masaru Emoto. He's from Japan. And he did this rice experiment. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
And a water experiment also that they changed
this guy.
Yes, I have seen a film called What the Bleep Do We Know? There's a film called What the Bleep Do We Know?
I love
and
learning
it talks
things on
about
the show.
that in the film.
Yeah, so what he did was he took 3 containers, 3 jars, and filled it with rice and water. And every day for 30 days, one jar he said to it, "Thank you."
Right.
Another jar he said, "You're an idiot." And the third jar he ignored. The one that he said thank you to with positive words every day actually started to ferment. The second jar, where he called it an idiot, it started to just turn dark. It didn't ferment, it didn't grow. But the one that was ignored actually rotted.
Interesting.
So there's an element to this. It's not just the power of the positive and the negative word. It's the power of just not using words at all. And I think as leaders, this is one of the biggest struggles that we have, is we don't talk enough to people. Right? I'm very conscious of my words now, and I'm noticing things about the words that I use that I don't like, especially as a parent. Because as we said earlier, the emotion, this quote, "The mouth speaks what the heart is full of." And if you're full of frustration, your words are going to be frustrating. If your heart is full of fear, your words are going to be fearful. If your heart is full of anger, your words are going to be angry. So we can watch the words that we use, or we can watch what our heart is full of.
That's right.
That sounds like a better technique to me, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Definitely.
Another thing that I found in researching this topic, there's the power of words, but then there's also power words. And this is something else we're going to put on our website. This is a marketing thing I learned real quick. This is a marketing thing. So it's not just being aware of the words that we use, it's being aware of the words that are thrust upon us in marketing. Radio, TV, print advertising. And when you look at, I found one as like the 300 most powerful words to use in marketing. It scared me because these are very transformative words. Now, we talked about this last week. This is not a show on politics. We cannot ignore the effect of words in our political system today.
True.
I'm not going to get all too political on you. My personal opinion, a driving reason that Donald Trump won the presidential election in the United States is because of the words that he used. And if you follow Scott Adams, who is the author of Dilbert, the cartoon, he wrote a book. I think the name of the book is How to Fail at Just About Anything. He talks very specifically about the power of words, and he wrote a blog quite frequently about the election on the words that both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were using in their speeches and whatnot. And here's a quick example. When he was in the primary, remember he attached one word to all of his opponents that we started to believe, right? Low energy, yes. Bush, right?
I remember that.
Low energy. Yeah. And what did we start thinking? Wow, he has low energy. I don't want him as a president.
Interesting.
So these words have a profound impact on how we believe other people. Our minds are very malleable. Our hearts are very malleable. And politicians take advantage of that.
Yeah.
It's the reality of the situation. There is a technology that I heard is coming in the next 5 years that they will be able to integrate into television based on facial expressions if someone's lying or not. Can you imagine watching a debate in about 8 years? And there's going to be a filter on the TV screen that will tell us if the candidate is lying or not.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And here, and then it gets worse, Peter.
Can't get
Can you imagine going home and your wife holding up an iPhone to your face and saying, "What did you do today?"
Yikes.
Better tell me the truth.
Yikes.
So do we have another caller here, Asher? Cherie's on the call. Cherie, welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
Good
JJ,
morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Hello.
Thanks for joining the show this morning. Tell us about the power of words.
Oh my goodness. For me, I would have to say that the power of words, for me, it's always been like a spiritual walk, faith-based, everything. So one of my, one of my favorites to live by is Jeremiah 29:11, where the word says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper, plans to not fear." For me, especially being a recent Dale Carnegie graduate, teaching me to live in the day-type compartments and owning my own truth of having fear that could really hold me back from living my purpose of lifting individuals. So my plan, I've, definitely are bracing it more of lifting individuals. So yeah, Jeremiah 29:11 is my day in and day out word to live by.
How do you maintain composure whenever other people around you are either rubbing against that or just don't believe it? Right? They're almost fight. They don't know what your words to live by are, but in a way they're kind of fighting you in those words. How do you maintain composure? What do you do?
For me, sometimes it's knowing when to talk and when not to talk. Being more of a listener, instead of always having to speak. Sometimes your actions speak louder than words, and to me, sometimes silence is good. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Being confident in who you are and what you believe in, and just trusting who you are, what you believe, and being open to hear other people's opinions and have positive dialogue with individuals instead of battling with them.
Sure.
I think for me allows myself to grow, allows me and others to develop strong relationships with each other, to truly understand how to live our purpose, how to work with each other and find a balance instead of struggling all the time.
Yeah. On your comment about being quiet, I couldn't help but to think about Bill Figueroa's comment on Facebook on our research question this week. I know he said it tongue in cheek, but it is best to remain silent and assumed ignorant versus opening your mouth and removing all doubt.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Because when we get under those emotional pressures, those words to live by start to shift a little bit. We forget them. We let our instincts and animal nature sometimes come out. I know it does for me.
Yes, it does. And I know sometimes for me, I can become, because I'm very passionate about lifting individuals and about being connected and building relationships. I don't like to get involved in arguments. So, oh my goodness, I like that one, what he said.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like a speechless moment right there within itself.
No, that's great, because and also on your whole subject of how you treat other people, Chris Lazuri said, treat the custodian like you treat the CEO. Kindness doesn't cost you a dime.
Yes,
right?
yes.
We have prejudice towards people in our lives naturally, and we have to be careful about that, especially based on their role in leadership or how high up they are the chain, whatever whatever their role is in life. It really shouldn't matter.
It really shouldn't. I was just in a conversation with someone the other day about a topic that's very similar to this, of no matter what someone is, like you said, no matter what their title is, no matter what their background has been, what their struggle is, you never know what someone has gone through. So the same compassion that you show towards, like you said, someone that's a CEO is the same compassion that you give to someone that is struggling, that is, whether they're homeless, whether they're just, going through a difficult time at that moment in life, whether they're the person that sits behind the desk and talks on the phone to a customer every day. No matter who they are, what they've been through, you still have compassion and treat them with love and kindness and respect. The same thing that you would want someone to give you. Everyone is due that same thing.
And I think, just to tie a bow on this whole conversation with you, it really does. What you just communicated to us is what that quote said earlier. The mouth speaks what the heart is full of. And that goes both ways, right? Even if our heart is not full of that, if we speak what you just said we should speak, Cherie, then our heart will become full of it. So we have to take more control over what is in our heart. Thank you so much for joining the show.
I have one more thing?
Oh, go Peter. Go,
Cherie.
Peter.
I believe the end of that scripture, that is like your life scripture, and I do know that one. It ends with, and to give you a future and a hope.
Yes.
And those are words to live by also that you can hold on to.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Another quote that I'm going to jump out to the rest of the world that Kristen Kuntz put out here. I love it. A ship in a harbor is safe, but that is not what the ship is built for.
Ooh, yeah.
We try to protect ourselves and our children too often, and not to try to grade these quotes too much, but this is one of my top one from Jennifer Perot. Not my circus, not my monkeys. How do we not let other people influence our attitude and provoke us to use those kind of words? You ever feel like that you're in a circus with other monkeys?
I'm pondering. It's good to ponder.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
you're good. Before we finalize the show here, I want to bring up the point that, and I didn't get into the physics of this, but there in the research too deeply, there are physics behind the words that we use. There's vibration in I don't know if you remember in school, you take a tuning fork and bang it on a rubber block, and then you put it in water and it would splash everywhere. That everything is reacting to vibration. It's called resonance. That if you get certain things on the right frequency, you can actually move other objects just with vibrations. And words do that. And here's a perfect proof. When I first started doing radio, for those of you that would tune into the visual, the Facebook Live or the YouTube, every once in a while you would have seen me pull the plug out of the mic and plug it back in because the mic would go out. But it was never happening to anybody else in the studio the whole week. Come to find out, and Asher knows all the technical details behind it, the sound engineer diagnosed me as having a certain frequency in my voice that was creating a little mayhem with the sound system. Our voice, the words, have very specific frequencies that physically impact ourselves, our own bodies, and the bodies of others.
It's because we're all energy. Because
it's energy based.
Everything is.
Absolutely.
This is not a real table. This table is actually not solid.
Is this a mirage? Am I in the Matrix?
You're actually not solid.
Is that what you gave me this morning with my coffee? I saw you putting some powder.
You are
in there.
Not solid. You're actually you're an energy
vibrating
field.
all over.
You're an energy field that has manifested through.
Oh,
energy.
we're getting heavy.
Oh yeah, let's
pull ourselves out of this.
Right at the end of the show, we get.
We want to thank Peter for being in the studio here today and being a wonderful guest co-host. We want to thank our sponsors, especially a Ginger Kid. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, we do some amazing things with. This is a unique way to promote your cause, your business. You can go to greatpeopleshow.com to check out our advertising, click in the top right corner, or contact me directly, really about anything, JJ at greatpeopleshow.com, because we take the show and we put it everywhere. It's a podcast. It's on video. We are everywhere. And the power of words is a part of this mission. We want to make sure that we're always giving you encouragement, giving you tools, giving you something for you to achieve greatness in this world, which we have proven on the show over and over is the impact that you can have on other people. Peter, thank you so much for being with us here today.
I am glad to be here. This has been really enjoyable.
This is Peter Larsen. I'm JJ White, and this has been
The Great People Show.
I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this.